I try to be objective with all of my sports coverage, and listen, Jacy Sheldon objectively should be suspended for this play. I just don't know in what world, in what universe you watch that play back and you go, that was a basketball play. She was trying to make a basketball move, especially with all the angles of
the noise around the WNBA is growing louder, and fan frustration has reached its peak. The latest controversy: a reckless and aggressive play by Jacy Sheldon aimed at Caitlin Clark, the league's most valuable player and biggest star. What many saw as an intentional hit has triggered widespread outrage. Fans are now demanding serious consequences, especially financial penalties that actually make an impact. If you think the league should step in, comment below. Suspend Sheldon.
And was clearly targeting Caitlin Clark most of this game, and that is, that comes from a function of, she guarded her in one-on-one situations a lot up the court, and then rolled into a lot of doubles in the half court, but there was talking and chirping all game, and for me, it was punctuated by Caitlin Clark's final play before she came out of the game, where she stares Jacy Sheldon down, essentially demonstrates, she's like, if you poke me in my eye, I will shoot it in yours. And she crosses her, finds the favorite spot, free throw line extended from the logo area, big U3 to Jacy Sheldon, yells at the Connecticut bench, yells at the crowd. From Twitter to TikTok, the outrage is spreading like wildfire. Social media is flooded with posts demanding accountability, and hashtags like #BanJacy Sheldon are trending across sports platforms. Fans aren't asking for a minor fine, they want a serious suspension that delivers a powerful message to the entire league. If referees won't step up to protect Caitlin Clark on the court, then it's time for the league office to take decisive action.
Every time Caitlin Clark takes the court, her opponents act like they've been booked for a main event brawl. The WNBA is doing nothing about it. Opponents aren't playing ball. They're strategically ambushing her. They're trying to injure her. Opponents bring chaos. She brings composure. And what Sophie did last night is completely valid. The WNBA has to do something about it.
The moment that reignited the firestorm came during what was expected to be a routine game between the Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun. Instead, it turned into yet another disturbing episode in the ongoing pattern of Caitlin Clark being repeatedly targeted. This time, the act was so blatantly unsportsmanlike that even casual viewers couldn't look the other way.
Clark and Jacy Sheldon. There is a legitimate hatred there. If you guys have heard this Ohio State team, this 2023 Ohio State team hated that Iowa team. And this is Jacy Sheldon, who was Caitlin Clark's direct matchup in these games. Like I tweeted out, forget Angel, forget Dejanay, this is Caitlin Clark's one true rival.
Jacy Sheldon didn't simply make a defensive play. She lunged forward and struck Caitlin Clark in the eye with alarming precision. The disturbing part, she smiled afterward, as if proud of what had happened. This wasn't a simple mistake or an overly aggressive hustle play. It felt intentional, calculated, and it was aimed at the one player currently carrying the weight of the league on her shoulder.
Funny thing about that whole Caitlin and Jacy situation last night is it's like on a if you know thing. These two have been running a friendly fade on the court for like the last 4 years. They played in college, had great battles, so I'm not surprised last night happened.
And it didn't end there. As Caitlin Clark stumbled from the eye poke, Sheldon escalated the incident, grabbing Clark's arm and digging in with clear intent. It was a cheap shot with no basketball purpose, no play on the ball. Just when it seemed the situation couldn't get any worse, Marina Mabrey entered the picture, coming from behind to shove Clark, sending her crashing to the floor. And the referees, they stood by, motionless, silent spectators to a moment that should have never been ignored.
Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna be me. I don't go in there trying to predetermine anything. I'm dialed in. I need to focus on hitting my shots, making sure I'm executing the schemes right. I'm not focused on the extracurricular activities. And you know what? During that, it was just part of the game. I think the refs had a lot to do with that. It was a build up for a couple of years now of them just not protecting, the star player of the WNBA. And so at the end of the day, I'm going to protect my teammates. That's what I do. And I'm a team player, so it's all good.
Fans reacted instantly, their frustration boiling over after feeling unheard for far too long. Within hours, Jacy Sheldon's social media was flooded with backlash as the internet exploded with demands for suspensions, fines, and even bans. Some expressed anger, others disappointment, but all agreed action was necessary. Sheldon wasn't being seen as a tough competitor. She was being called out as a bitter instigator who had crossed the line by targeting the league's most iconic player with a dirty play.
Get it from behind or from the side. It's so obvious that she straight up leapt out towards Caitlyn and got her right in the eye. And the more I try and watch it back and you try to be objective, there is no world where this was a basketball play. And yes, she was playing tough defense on Caitlyn up until that point, but she leapt forward. And it's not like it's defensible where you can say she tried to get the ball, because her hand at that point was so far away from where the ball was. It's not like Caitlyn was dribbling the ball up near her face. How she was not ejected for this, I don't know. The broadcast was talking about it, and that's why Sophie Cunningham even had the opportunity to hard foul her at the end. I don't know what you do, but the league's got to do something.
Even mainstream media couldn't stay silent. Late-night hosts and sports analysts weighed in, highlighting the seriousness of the situation. Jimmy Fallon paused the comedy to deliver a direct message on national television: protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs. Enough is enough. Meanwhile, Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports didn't hold back slamming the Connecticut duo and calling Sheldon and Mabry jealous punks who don't belong on the same court as Clark. This level of backlash only happens when the public sees something clearly wrong, and this time, they absolutely did.
Stop the fighting. He thought they meant the WNBA. What is going on? Protect Caitlyn Clark at all costs, please. Enough of this. Please.
To understand the outrage, you have to understand Caitlyn Clark's value to the WNBA. She's not just a star, she's the league's biggest economic driver. Dr. Ryan Brewer, a finance expert, reported that Clark was responsible for 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity in her rookie season, despite earning just $76,535. He projects she could generate nearly $1 billion in value for the league in 2025 alone. With that kind of impact, targeting her without protection isn't just wrong, it's bad business.
Bring Caitlyn Clark to the NBA right now, because the refs ain't gonna protect her. She only got one teammate, and that's her, who gonna do something about it. Like, yo, yesterday, that's malice in the palace activity. Call for it. That y'all should have been throwing hands all over the place. How do you get poked in the eye, then get thrown to the ground, and then you receive a technical foul? And don't none of your teammates want to step up, fight, squabble, none of that. They just looking like, yo, it's been, we know that y'all been targeting Caitlyn Clark now. Now, I'm even watching, I'm like, hold on, what? Like, how are y'all letting this happen? How are y'all not protecting this girl? Now, she clearly is a superstar, right? But there's plenty superstars in the WNBA, and don't none of them get treated the way Caitlyn Clark get treated. Now, y'all gonna mess up and ruin the whole numbers, your ratings, your spawn, all that, if y'all don't have Caitlyn Clark in y'all's league. So y'all better start acting right. I'm telling you.
When a player has this much influence on ticket sales, TV ratings, and sponsor interest, allowing her to be repeatedly targeted without real consequences is more than a bad look, it's a serious failure. In any other major league incidents like this would trigger ejections, fines, suspensions, and immediate statements. Yet here we are, Caitlyn Clark continues to face physical targeting, while referees look away and the league stays silent. The WNBA's response to the Jacy Sheldon incident has left fans stunned. Sheldon received only a flagrant one, a minimal penalty for what many saw as a deliberate act. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham, who actually stood up for Clark, was handed a flagrant 2 and an extra fine. The message: target the face of the league and get a light punishment. Defend her, and you get hit even harder. It's like punishing the firefighter while letting the arsonist walk free.
This has been a very contentious 12 hours since the game. A lot of people on ESPN saying ridiculous things, like Monica McNutt saying she had no problem with Marina Mabry's foul. And I look at that in comparison to the Sophie Cunningham foul, which I have seen people say has no place in the league, unsportsmanlike, when that actually is a lot more sportsmanlike than the Marina Mabry one. Marina Mabry was completely disconnected from the play, had nothing to do with it. There was no play even going on when Marina Mabry did.
Having Caitlyn Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent. She was massively successful in college, and that's transcended into the WNBA, where she's leaps and bounds above pretty much most every player there. You're allowing her to get beaten up on the regular during games, flagrant fouls, people trying to take her eye out. That's happened a couple different times last year and this year.
One could argue she is an A-level star, and they don't even have B and C level stars. From A, it drops to D. She is the entire league. and they allow things like this to happen last night against the Connecticut Sun.
Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space and look like she just got hit in the eye there.
And Marina Mabry, I missed that one. What are you doing, huh?
Oh, I missed that one too.
Like, it wasn't just a hard foul accident. Like, there's nothing Caitlin Clark has done in response at this point. So what's the point in blowing up into her face? And immediately, I don't think Caitlin's even extended her arm to push her away. Maybe the coaching is, hey, if you're physical with Caitlin Clark, it's one of the only ways to stop her. Yes. So, like, they're all encouraged to be really physically aggressive. But it's hard not to look at this and think there's animus towards her. You got to protect Caitlin Clark. She is the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is non-disrespectable. That's not even a word, but I'm going to just use it for the point of my video. You cannot disrespect the nucleus of women's basketball and act like it's not going to be a problem, man. Oh, Caitlin Clark could do this, but other people can't. You goddamn right. Because she's the center of women's basketball. We've said this a million times. Clark changed the game. She is the nucleus, the center, the black hole. Everything revolves around Clark with women's basketball, man.
Clark is the golden goose. Every game she is dropping golden eggs. And they are trying to strangle the golden goose to death. There's jealousy. There is hate. Everyone in the league seems to hate the fact that Caitlin Clark is making the league relevant. If I were advising Caitlin Clark, I would say start your own pro basketball league for women. I don't know why she benefits from the WNBA at all. She could go out. She is the draw for women's basketball and set up her own league. She might even be able to own the majority of the league. She could probably become a billionaire. Set it up with far fewer teams. You play far fewer games. Heck, they did it with Live Golf. I think the audience would follow Caitlin Clark wherever she goes.